final thing, because even if, I mean, as we see, we become and then we decay, and then we become and then we decay, and then we become and then we decay. The circle of life, your una tuna matata thing, whatever, under the Lion King.
The argument about what is the universe becoming would be a teleological argument. That's, yeah, I just learned that word.
Well, if you look at reality, if you imagine you're in some of the galaxy, you look out, I mean, just from my backyard, if you didn't have light pollution, you could see the night sky, and you have darkness with little dots that represent galaxies and planets. And
I wonder what effect has it had on humans that so many of us now live in places where we can't see the stars anymore.
there was an article in the Sierra magazine about the terrible crisis of light pollution in terms of our sense of reality. But another angle that's, I've got a book that says powers of 10. 10 to the 25th power, you just have the night sky, kind of, from somewhere. But if you go to the minus powers of 10, it only goes in the book. The picture's probably computer done, because I don't think you can get inside something that small. But what you get when you get 10 to the minus 10 power to minus 15, it looks like a night sky. You get the night sky all over again. And I think it was Plato or Socrates said, as above, so below. I mean, there's the vast universe out there, and then there's this universe inside that we're in the middle somewhere.
I think my first pantheistic experience, which I didn't recognize at that for many, many, many years, I was about 5 or 6 years old. I grew up in a city. We didn't have really bad glare, but enough that you really couldn't see much of the stars from where I grew up. And we went to visit an uncle of mine who lived on he and my aunt rented a farmhouse to live in the wintertime, while the people there were down in the Rio Grande Valley, I guess. And we went to visit them. And we were in there, and I wandered out in the yard and just practically was transfixed there, you know. It was the first time I had ever seen the Milky Way. And I'd read about it, but I didn't know this is here. It's been here all along, you know. I had a religious experience right there, and I didn't even know what was happening, you know.
And most kids today live in
Never
cities
had that
where they don't
opportunity.
even.
They couldn't recognize that within themselves because they never see it, to connect with it.
You go out in your yard here in Arlington, as I do every night, to go out and make sure there's water in the
4
bird
stars
bath.
and maybe the moon.
Yeah, I can get about, it's a scattering, it's a
It
scattering.
is, but it gives you still, I mean, I still have the same feeling from it.
Mhm.
But I mean, it would just not the intensity, I guess. You know, that when you see it, so much of it.
And it's available to us all the time. It doesn't have to be the sky. You just look at a fly on the wall, literally. Look at a fly on the wall and really look at it instead of just swatting it, which is what my first instinct is all the time. Just look at it and think about it. Be in the moment there and really start considering what you're looking at. And it is just, if miracle is a valid term to apply to anything, there's a miracle in front of you. In fact, I read a poem recently that was, I think it called it Miracle. It was about seeing a small fly on my window screen.
And there's a whole
realize
little universe in
the
that.
whole universe represented in that.
And what if you could zoom in with an instrument and get closer and closer and closer to
The life inside,
and the
on
little
and
fly
inside
says,
the
"Hi,
life."
John." Wouldn't you be impressed?
Would I what?
Wouldn't you be impressed?
I would be
Wouldn't you
overwhelmed.
think that was
I would be
significant?
overwhelmed, actually.
Well, see, that's the way I feel about my granddaughter. It's just, you know, I mean, it's beyond words. It's just very important and very real, and it's the most real and most important thing that I experienced.
I want you to stay there with the fly on the wall that you zoomed in to the point that the fly is now communicating with you. And then go back to that, I am that, I am. And what if that fly said that to you? I am that, I am.
Well, that's the whole idea of it being unity, is that in some sense it is. We are all expressions. This is my own little hack
That's a very
Thing that
pantheistic
we're all
idea. That's a
expressions
very,
of-
very pantheistic idea.
of one person. Yes, there is only one person.
I suggest to people in the alcoholic and addict groups I do, I say, imagine guys, when sometimes they'll say, oh, I'm an atheist, I don't believe in higher power. And they say, well, one guy said, I'm a nature man. I said, well, have you ever seen the sunset that just took your breath away? And he said, yes, my kind of moment. But I said, that's kind of how higher power works. It's bigger than you are, and you react to it, you're touched by it. And another thought along that line is, imagine yourself to be an atom in the body of God.
To be a what?
An atom, A-T-O-M, atom,
Okay.
in the body of God. I mean,
That's one way you could think of it, yeah.
Only it's better than that, because as above, so below, if you subscribe to that, it's a microcosm, because it captures this, it's not just a part, it's a reflection of the whole, and therefore can be holy.
Like a hologram.
well, in Bruce Lipton's book, Biology of Belief, he describes cells as little entities, little committees, little communities that interact based on our thought.
Mm-hmm.
That everything is God, everything has an intelligence, even rivers. If you do not respect the river, you pollute the river, you are discreating the function of the river. And the river becomes a bad entity that is prejudicial to you and others. So the concept of respect to other beings that are not necessarily sentient, but there is a sort of feeling which is not human, but it's a perception. Everything is sentient. The water senses when it's dirty. It changes color and smell and everything else. Everything reacts because the components, which are atoms, are little pieces of intelligence.
I found myself just this afternoon meditating the question, when a lizard, let's say, catches a bug, does the bug feel pain? And my conclusion was, necessarily, it does. Because that part of what that bug uses to survive in the first place is the ability to sense danger.
And he doesn't want to be easy.
So in that level, that's something that I share with the bug.
Yeah.
But it's mercifully modulated. Apparently, at least that's what we're told, that animals have a way of anesthetizing themselves.
How do we know that, though?
Well, I'll try to find the facts, as Larry says, but that's supposedly...
We have a way of anesthetizing ourselves, too. I mean, I've had the experience, and many of us have,
But it
of
takes
being
intelligence.
exercising vigorously, and my arthritis, this was years ago when I could do this, and my arthritis didn't hurt so much because I gather I was getting something from my brain called endorphins that were reducing the pain responses from my nerves. So we anesthetize ourselves too, but I don't think it goes very far. When I cut my finger off, let's say, I probably pass out first, which is another way of anesthetizing yourself, I guess. But the point being that we're not separate and special, in my opinion.
Exactly.
We are of the same.
But that is a concept that is very prevalent in Christianity because you were crowned king of the universe. I mean, you have power over everything that moves. and
According
crawls.
to their
What we
But
really
you're
straighten that up.
still anything you wish, and you're the owner of it.
Until you see a jaguar stalking.
Then you think about who wrote that down with us.
Plus the old dude.
If you got to read the Fly's Bible, I think you'd find out, I think I wrote a poem about it too. They listen to the mosquito's view of the universe I was writing about, that all the world is created for the mosquito, and the logical extension of that, and that humans are this wonderful source of food and everything, and God created, the mosquito God created that for them, So, and that's a very reasonable thing to suspect the mosquitoes would have that point of view if they had a point of view. And of course they have a point of view, they probably just don't get it that complicated, I suppose. I don't know.
I think we like to think of ourselves as superior
Yeah.
apex predator. And then, like I say, if you ever watch, I saw this video once of a jaguar that was stalking a crocodile. Crocodile was on this little island, sunning himself, and this jaguar he sees walking along the other side of the riverbank, crosses over the river. He's on that crocodile and has destroyed its brain pan. And you realize you have no choice. You would not stand a chance against that jaguar. If that jaguar decided you would lunch, you would lunch.
But as a species, the jaguar doesn't stand a chance against the humans.
Exactly.
As a species.
If it
Jaguars are the ones that are endangered.
were, but if it were me in my natural
One-on-one,
state,
no. But that's just it. Humans don't act one-on-one. We evolved to act cooperatively like wolf packs, only more so.
or with weapons.
Oh, yeah.
Telescopic.
Until back to bacteria or
To go hunting for
infection.
Yeah,
dogs.
ultimately the bacteria are gonna win the battle.
And never extinct until
Yeah.
a blip in the universe.
Definitely bacteria are gonna win the battle. I have an infection that I've had for 12 years and I'll probably have it for the rest of my life because I can't kill it. And bacteria are winning the battle there. All I can do is treat the symptoms and see how long I can survive with it. I hope a long time. 12 years so far. But,
We're finding new and better antibiotics all the time.
I don't know. I haven't found one in 12 years yet, and you want to find a cure that won't kill you too. There's a lot of antibiotics I can't take anymore.
There's a lot of them out there, apparently, they haven't even tried.
But, meanwhile though, I'm not a teacher, I am a seeker, and I was just wanting to share this with you because this article really
Very tough.
made me sit back and think about things I thought I knew something about and decided I didn't really know much about this at all. I am not a very sharp thinker on these topics.
Where can we find that?
Oh, it's in the, well, you've got it right there in the handout. It's in the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, which is an online document. I have seen this article quoted briefly in several other places.
I have one.
It's evidently the best thing available out there on the subject of problems with pantheism. And that's what I wanted to talk about. I didn't want to come out here and proselytize anybody to pantheism, because that's kind of silly. But just give some, it's a difficult thing to think about.
I think the point is to think about.
What's that?
The point, I think, is to think about.
Yeah, it's a necessary thing to think about.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so
it fascinated me to
it's
find
running
out
within that
how
itself.
many major religions have had people within them come to a pantheistic position.
It's hard for me to imagine a theist and a pantheist in an argument. Not that I don't understand that there's a difference, there is, but I mean to I don't know, to bring up the passion to argue between the
Well,
theist and...
you know, as in any kind of situation like that, you want to look for what's the common ground between them.
Yeah.
What is it they can agree on? And I think they could agree on values in a lot of cases. And that's important. If we can come to an agreement on things as important as values, then there's hope in this. Otherwise, we just keep on killing each other.
How do you go through your day as a pantheist?
What's that?
How do you go through your day as a pantheist?
I wake up in the morning, I take my medicine. Like, you know, basically I have times during the day that I spend for opening myself up to whatever is available in the natural world around me. I have a very lush, overgrown jungle of a garden in my yard, and it's filled with life. I don't begin to know everything that's in my own little quarter acre of the world there. I don't call it my own because I'm the one that waters it, I guess. And it just endlessly inspiring. I write poetry. I've written over 1,000 poems that have been published here and there, mostly there. And a great many of them are about experiences like that, about the miracle of looking at a little fly out a window, and about the miracle of looking at a house finch on a bird feeder outside my kitchen window and thinking, this is what the sunflower seeds that I put out there have been converted into this miracle of feathers that flies through the liquid air and catches bits of the sunshine.
It's called
I,
And
contemplation.
how can you not be religious about that?
It's contemplation. And you're meditating constantly, so you're in a state of elevated.
Oh, and also, I've been in practice for years, and it's gonna get me one of these days. I go out in the garden on the patio, as far as I'll venture nowadays, at midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning, because I have bad sleep patterns anyway, and I just sit out there for a little bit, being there with the night.
It's a nice time because other things have calmed down. You know, some activity and vibrations are less at that time. Then again, you can start to hear things that you didn't even know, you know, were going on out there.
But you know, you
I
don't
know,
have
I'm deaf
to,
all day. and
you don't have to
I
look
hear
further than
everything.
your own
Yeah.
body
Exactly.
to relate with the universe. One poem I wrote that I'm still very fond of is that it's easy to find God in a flaming sunset and a mighty mountain.